Hello, Aries. I'm Bonnie Morris, and that's Dawn Rumor Rivera. And together we are Cards and Constellations. We are the ones that have taken both astrology and tarot and married them together so that you can get a better idea of what the energy is like and use it to your advantage. This week is July 7th through the 13th. And we're going to talk, first of all, on July 10th, we have a full moon. It's at 8:30 in the evening, and that's Greenwich Mean Time, so you'll have to adjust for that. It's in the sign of Capricorn this week. And being a full moon means that everything becomes illuminated, okay? You can see all the stuff you've been working on with whatever project it is, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And you can tweak it. You can go, okay, I like what's over there. I don't like what's over there. So we'll change this and make it acceptable, and then we pivot because you have to turn away from the project at that point. So that's what we're doing on July 10th. Now, to figure out what it is, the project we've been working on, we have to go way back. Go back to the new moon. The new moon in Capricorn was on January 11th of 2024. Now, that's when you set the intentions here. That is what, if you can go back then and check your notes, hopefully your journals, Facebook, whatever you use, and figure out what it is you plant, what seeds did you plant? And then you'll know, because on October 10th of that year of 2024, we had the first quarter moon in Capricorn. That's when you did all the work, you set everything up. And now we're going to see it all illuminated by the full moon. And we're going to pivot away from it because on April 10th of next year, 2026, in Capricorn will be the last quarter. And that's when you celebrate your success and again, turn away and wait for the next new moon. All right, that's a lot of information. Let's see what we have for Aries. This week, we have that minor trine, that talent trine we talked about. It continues on from last week. You are continuing to feel a strong ambition this week. However, there is a better balance between your thoughts and your feelings. A lot of energy and confidence and assertiveness. You are an inspiring leader, guided by clarity, action, and purpose. There is more of a big picture outlook this week and a stronger sense of purpose and inner peace. Compassionate, trusting in your intuition is important. There can be little dreamy intuitiveness, and that can bless your relationships with compassion, tenderness, and understanding. Now, Jupiter is squaring Neptune, and that leaves you longing for more. And sometimes, watch out, boundaries can get blurred, so use caution. Collectively, there will be a sense of healing and inner growth. You find your problem-solving skills are on point, and you have the ability to take your vision to reality and tune in. Midweek, you may feel cold between security and a desire for growth. There's going to be this teeter-totter. Which way do you want to go? On July 10th, of course, that's the full moon, which will highlight the contrast between yourself and your emotions, encouraging growth through balance. Always confident, your direct emotional expression highlighted during this full moon. Towards the end of the week, you'll feel very passionate and vibrant. However, that can lead to highs and lows and can be easily stirred either way. Also, Mercury, opposite the moon, plays a tug of war with your heart and your mind. Thoughtfulness versus intelligence. There is also another trine between Venus and the moon, allowing for emotional ease, kind of sets the other off, gives you social grace, affectionate and kindness, a deep emotional intelligence, and the ability to create inviting spaces of both physical and emotional. Now, let's see what Dawn has for tarot.
Alrighty then, let's see what we have for the sign of Aries. Spirit, universe, tell me what. Oh, we got a jumper. King of Rods, King of Wands. I mean, a King of Wands comes out. This is your overall energy, by the way. This is not your energy for you, but it's like your energy for the environment for you. And so this is an interesting one. When this comes out, there are things to be done. There's work to be done. There is a focus, a purpose. So if you've been putting some things off, if you've been looking to not move a project forward, or you've been thinking about, okay, what do I do? Or even the planning process, the energy around you this week is going to be one of get her done. So I would focus on making sure that with this energy, with this additional kind of I don't know, it's not just an energy, it's also like a synergy. It's like all these things are working in conjunction to help move things along. So don't be surprised if you have been thinking about doing a project of some kind, all of a sudden the resources show up. And you're thinking, well, that was weird. No, it wasn't weird. It was intended. Again, there's a synergy around helping you to facilitate all the aspects of something to move forward. Now, your energy for the week is all around change that you did not institute and you are not creating. When you get this card for you in as a specific person, this means really close to home. So if you have let's say if you have not had the strongest relationship, you may be in for a surprise. If you've not had the best financial situation in a while, you may be in for a surprise. If you've set yourselves up too much and you took some risks, you may be in for a surprise. This is, but however, let me give you the other side of this coin, because change is not always bad. It can be good too. And so let me point to this card and say, if you have been having some issues in your relationship, this could mean the opposite. Guess what? Somehow it's finally found itself to work out. This could also be a situation where you didn't like your job and yet you found another one because maybe you got getting fired or maybe whatever, or laid off. But again, it created the synergy to get you into something better than you were in. So change is not always a negative thing. The question about change, though, when this kind of change, because again, this is you not having started this. This is something else outside of your domain or whatever, but your purview. But the one thing about this is that if you know change is there, if you feel it, and then you can figure out how you can utilize it to your advantage, then ride that wave. And that's the one thing about change, is that change, even bad change, if you figure out a way to use it to your advantage, you can move forward with that change, which I like. And look at this. There's the horizon with the boat way out in the end. This is a Two of Pentacles. And so goes kind of back to what I was saying here. Okay, you may not have wanted the change. You may not have created the change, right? But you can find a way to utilize the change. So it's like it's like okay, yes and no, good and bad. It's an infinity. It's the infinity conflict, right? The good and evil. It's always kind of bad and good. It's always that conflict. And so the question is, you see it as an obstacle or an opportunity? Is this an obstacle or an opportunity? Your perspective can make the difference. And then here it's like, don't get into your feelings. Don't get all into, oh, woe is me. Look oh my God, this is so terrible. Oh. No, focus on what has already come and what can be done as you move forward. This is already spilled. The wine's already gone. So let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Oh,
and
my
most
goodness.
importantly, embrace the change. Embrace the change. Because again, the change has started. Remember, the spilt wine, you didn't create that. The universe created that change. Now count what you can do to make sure your cups that are standing are still full. And then there's a page of rods, which is a page of wands. And so that page of wands is that new energy, which comes back to a renewed relationship or a new relationship. It could be a new job. It could be a new project. It could be a new renewed vitalization in yourself of something. This can be read so many ways, but again, it's that new energy, and that new energy because you found out how to use the change to your advantage. That's what I'm getting. There you go.
That is so perfect. That is all about the full moon. You're going to see things that you couldn't see before.
Exactly.
You're going to then want to change it. Might not have a choice. You might have to change it. And then you're going to be okay. It's like endings create new beginnings.
Yeah, and we are reticent to change. We really do not like change.
Yeah,
And so sometimes it's visited upon us, and then once we go through the change, we're like, man, why didn't I do that sooner? So that's a really good thing. So the community, the astrology is lined up to help you with getting through a change.
Yep.
The universe energy is about change, and so embrace the change, use it to your advantage, and you will have a much better week the following week than you did last week. I got that for sure. With that said, we are done. Miss Bonnie, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. This is Cards and Constellations. Please go to the Cards and Constellations channel on YouTube and hit subscribe and follow there. While you're at it, go to Sonoran Mystic Tarot and do the same there. If you're on this site, please go over to Miss Bonnie's, which is Your Love Goddess, and do the same. And if you're on her side, come over to my side, but also hit all three. Make sure you're hitting those buttons. And when you share it out, you share out and help us grow. We would appreciate that. Yes, ma'am?
I was just going to point out the Cards and Constellations uses the ampersand, which is important because there is another one that says cards with and spelled out. So make sure you've got the right one.
Absolutely.
You see this picture? You got us.
Exactly. With that said, have an amazing week. We'll see you next week with another marriage of astrology and tarot. This is Donna Bonnie from our family and us to you and yours. Have a great one. Bye-bye.